Hooray! Now it's working. So today we're going to have a very interesting task. We've got an interesting task. We're going to fight the crown virus with magic spells. Because if you read that, then you destroy the viruses. Not fun. So today we're going to Wales.
Yeah, and we're going to be very destructive.
We have a red dragon from Wales. Okay, so the original here is in Welsh, and it's some kind of a funny Welsh. Not exactly how we have it today. So if you go to the website, you'll see the poem, and then it's like normal Welsh. Original text and how you say it in normal Welsh. But still, so that's poetic. Still. So before we start, how do we read it? Because if you look at it, it looks really strange. So let's first have a look. So do we have A, B, F, reads as V. Double F reads as F.
Okay.
Then what do we have? Y can be either A or E.
Okay.
Then W is usually like U or O. Well, we have, oh yeah, the famous double L.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so the famous double L is not any sound that you may find in English or any other language indeed. So if you say L, if you say ch,
Ch.
ch,
Ch.
ch,
Ch.
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 So it's like you say L, only you do it without sound, you say ch. So that's a really weird sound. Really weird.
Yes, it's weird, weird indeed.
Yeah. So what else do we have in there? Ah yeah, double Z. Double Z. Z is like the, like TH in English, the.
Okay.
And this TH. Okay, I wasn't recording. Okay, again, F is V, double F is F, Y can be A or E, W is like U or O, double L is a strange sound which is ch, 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 ch. I might not be spelling it right either.
Welsh.
Cymraeg.
Cymraeg.
Double Z is the, like TH. U is E. I think that is more or less it. So the great thing about the Welsh language is the strongest side and the weakest side of the language is you read it as you hear it. It's good because as you write it, you make no mistakes. You just write down what you can hear. On the other hand, if you want to find the word, you need to know the original form. It can change a lot. I have like nasal mutations and soft mutations, like M and F or B and V, or that kind of thing, or D and V and Ch and L. They all turn into each other.
Sounds intimidating.
Yeah, or like K and G. Like in Cardiff would be in Cardiff. Horrible. Well, anyway, that's what we need to know to start reading it. We're not trying to read it perfectly, we're just trying to feel it. We're just trying to bring out the sounds, to make them alive again, and to sound this massive magic all around the planet. To clear the globe once and for all from that stupid virus, because it's not a real virus anyway, just to bring some panic. So we fight this panic with good poetry and in a gnomic language. So that's our magical task for today. Let's try to read it. Again, we might read it wrong, it doesn't matter. Shakeyburns abym heddiw, dan wenti'r gwyrddgell fyw, am gwrando ddechreudydd a ceiliog bron y fraith celfydd, am canu anglyn a lathar, arwyddion a rhithion trafod. Persenig, pwysien anwydd, persiw. Yeah. Another thing is SI is sh. That's sh. Siwrne air tratau siwyd. Am y doifol sydd goif gair am erchi. So that's like hard, like in Spanish. Like
Don Juan.
Yeah. Like Spanish. Chwaer, geiriog, heid panger gwarant, sefa kerch, eintrych nawd. Okay, you try to do it too.
I'm lost in the text where I...
Okay, it's now...
Oh, you are there already.
Okay, let's read it, let's read.
Amdano,
Oed,
Gamsai,
of Lodai, Wyn, Geikiai, Mai, I Gassel, Didigesint, o Esgish, Wir Wentish, Gwint. Nid oedd yna mewn diw mawr, ond awr o sian dor a siawr. Morfydd a'i hanfonasau, miller, ganiadaeth maif mai. Mi a glywyn mewn glwywiaeth, ddadganu, nid methu maif. Ddarsain plurf, nid rwyf rhys. Efengil am ddifyngus. Godi ar fryn am yna ar afrsiaden o ddeilyn dda. Ac els gain fain fan gael o gwra siwn gerau siaw. Clewraig nawd I gant a gant, cloch aber, glai a chwyban. Dyr chafal a aberth. Hydanen uwchben a berth. A chrefydd ein dofydad a charegl fwydd a siariad. Bodlonwydd ganiadaeth. Bedlwyn o coed mwynau maif. So it's really crazy. If you go to the website again, you may find it. You may listen to it. How do you find it? Okay, let's do some experiment. Let's see. It's still recording. Yeah, let's see recording. Good. I can find it so we can listen to how it really sounds. It's really beautiful. When you look at it, when you listen to it, you see the real skill. Because sometimes we look at the meanings, but sometimes the form is equally important. That's a spell, it's the unity of
Yeah.
form and meaning. And to look at what he does, doesn't make you dizzy. It should make you dizzy. Okay, where was it? Somewhere here, near. Closer. Where's it here? And the translation here, where is it here? Where are they? Yes, here it is. Doesn't that for a while? Oh, shame. Maybe here? Web page not available. Oh, okay. So you can do it at home.
Oh, I can probably try to find it somewhere on my laptop if that's okay.
Okay, so meanwhile, let's just have a look at it. I mean, you can do it at home, it's not difficult. So, as we look at it, okay, let's read the translations also, at least understand what's going on here. A woodland mass. I was in a pleasant place today, under the mantles of fine green hazels, listening at break of day to the skillful cock thrush, singing a splendid angling, ceremonies and shining recitals. Traveller from afar, like proof his nature, this grey love messenger journeyed far. He came here from the fair county of Caer, because my lovely darling asked him. Vacations until a warrant is obtained. He's making for the head of a boy. He wore a camiscia, all the flowers of May tender branches, and his chasuble, so it seemed, was of the wind's wings, green mantles. The altar, covering there by grey God, was of nothing but gold entirely. It was Morvid, who had sang the magical singing of May's solstice sun. I heard in pure language a lengthy recitation without fault, a reading to the people of the parish, no pompous stumbling, of the gospel without mumbling. Then there was raised on an ash hill a wafer bread of a good leaf, with a fine slender resonant nightingale from the edge of a grove nearby, poetess of the stream, ringing for all a sacred bell, a piercing whistle, and the host was raised up towards the sky above the grove, and the Lord our Father was worshipped with a chalice of desire and love. I am content with the music. It was nurtured by a birch grove in the sweet woods. So it's a very nice light poem. Anything interesting about it?
Well, maybe it's just me, but I find it difficult to understand it. Also, an interesting part for me is how many special words there are in it. Words that are sort of translated, but not really translated.
Yeah, we'll have a look at them.
Yeah. But if you say that it's a light poem, I light say that something in it might sound a bit intimidating to some people, including me, although I might find it difficult to identify what it really is.
Examples?
Well, maybe that part where that final part where they say about the Lord our Father who was worshipped, piercing whistle, ringing for all. These are the sounds or the phenomena that are very unusual and therefore might be intimidating. I don't know.
Okay, so what's going on here, just technically, how the story goes? So we have the narrator who came to a nice place somewhere in the woods, and there he heard a bird, a cock thrush, and the bird was singing for him because the bird was sent as a love messenger from his beloved girl. The girl sends the bird to him to sing for him. So, traveled from afar, this grey love messenger came here because my lovely darling asked him. So that's like a normal thing to do. If you can't go and see your beloved, you may as well send the bird. That's normal. Happens. But then something funny is going on. So a bird singing in a tree, that turns into a church service. The bird singing turns into a priest singing in church, and a leaf is like the wafer bread, holy bread in church. And really nice, we have the nightingale, nice sexy nightingale who is a she, because in Welsh we have he and she and not like in English, so a nightingale is a she. She is a poetess of the stream, and she helps in the ceremony. And that's how they worship God, with love and songs. And he listens to it and he enjoys it. Oh, that's what's going on there. Okay? So, obviously the first what you notice as you look at it is the structure in the original. So let's first just have a closer look at it, just to enjoy it. So I was in a pleasant place today, under the mantles of fine green hazels, listening at break of day to the skillful cock thrush, singing a splendid angling, ceremonies and shining recitals. So angling is a kind of a poem. It has a fixed structure. It's short. Usually it can have, I think, 3 lines or 5 lines, maybe 7 lines, and it has a very specific structure. How many syllables, how it rhymes here, it rhymes there, it has eternal rhymes. So it's short but really difficult to write. A little bit like a hokku in Japan. So that could be like little anglings. Each stanza is like a little angling in itself. You can't translate it because it's a kind of a poem like sonnet, haiku, angling. So let's look. Can you see? Again, you don't need to like read it because you look at it and that's, you see how it's spelled because you write it as you hear it. So we can see all these beautiful repetitions. Heddiw and will, like here.
Do and selfu.
Did and Selvith. Grando, Kaliog. Something even more interesting, like Anglin, Ruffer, Trivial Chaffer. Not just the last bits, but whole big bits. So they sing and they're echoing, they're repeating, they're playing. That's the magic of poetry. That's how you play with it, how you enjoy it. You don't just go, oh, now I need to tell everybody my great ideas. Or you listen to the sound and you enjoy the magic when you change one sound and the meaning changes completely. Yeah. So Shifyon and Shaffer, they come one after another, yeah? Next to each other. They're really, really similar. Shifyon and Shaffer. And the next bit, like Peshenik, push, and Peshurnyai, and Shateshruid. You just have the sounds and you turn them. It's like you have a big, big diamond and you turn it to light. You turn here, it says Peshenik, like travel, push, pesh, Shateshruid. Or here, Almadoif, and then Almay, yeah? Goif, Gair, Erchwair, and then Gair, and Geiriog, and Geir, and Guarant. Yeah? Again, you take it, you turn it. Gair, like county of Gair, turns into Geiriog, locations, and Guarant, Geir, Guarant, Seva, Kerch, and Trich, Kerch, and Terch. Yeah? Noun. And again, Amdano are with Gamzai, and Gamzai turns into Genke Mai. Yeah? Then we have this funny bed with Eskich, Gwir, and Wind. Yeah? So wind is like wind. Gwir is green. So green and wind come together here. Niet ooit een naam meun die maar on our osh. So again, niet ooit een naam and on our osh. Door and diumal dorsal. Morvid ein hanvossanai mother. So again, Morvid, which is the name of the girl, becomes mother, like Mita, metrical song. Gainadaif, Mabmaif Mai. And again, you just listen to it. You don't need to think too much about the meaning, but Mabmaif Mai. And Maif comes into the next bit. And here we have Maif. And Meln and Gloiaif. And then need Methi Maif. We don't contain ourselves to just one stanza, because often what happens is the poet looks at the stanza as a complete little poem in itself. So when you have fun, you have it inside this closed form of a stanza, but not here. Here you are free to build the connections, and that's how the poem does not break apart into little pieces, but it's held as one whole. Because of these connections between different parts. And then again, Vatgani becomes Darshain. So it's like each line is singing. How do you translate it? How can you translate it? I don't know. You need to be a genius to translate it, really. Well, now you have like Rui Faris again inside the line. Evangel on the Vinges. So we have Vatgani, Darshain, and now the Vinges. So it's all connected with reading. Darshain is reading, Vinges, apparently that's what he says without mumbling. Obviously, Evangel is the gospel, like in yes. Greek Evangel. Chodiar vrin anana. Again, vrin anana. Yeah, vrin anana. Arshaden o veichem dha. Akes gain vein. Gain vein. Van. Gau. Yeah. Gora. Sheon ger. Gor. And ger. Ei shau. Llwyn and shau. Clewraig nant ei gant. Nant gant gan. I gant a gan. I gant a gan. I gant a gan. What is it? A piercing whistle? Probably. Maybe not. No. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Avershaden or the alien tha, that should be good leaf, because tha means good. Ak else, and after. Gain, vine, vangau or gur. Ashungerei, ciao. Lewraignain, tegan, klocha berf, klaya chwiban. Again, we hear it. Kloch, klai, chwiban. Yeah? Kloch is bell, so it should be second bell, piercing whistle. Der chaval ara berf. So again, aberf, we repeat it. Hidanen uwch ben a berf. So again, kloch, klai, chwiban, uwch ben. Ara berf, ben a berf. Yeah? And again, chrefydd. Ein dofi dad. A haragel, lwyf, a shariad. Botlon lwyf ganiadau. Bedwyn o'r coed mwyn a'i maif. So again, maif with I, maif with E. So again, how do you feel it? How do you take it? Do you listen to it as music? Do you try to translate it? Do you just write it? Or do you just listen to it as you listen to a bird song? Because obviously when we listen to a bird song, we don't hear all of it. It's more complicated than a human ear can hear.
Really?
Yes. So if you slow down, if you record it and slow it down, you'll see there are lots and lots of details which are too subtle for human ear. The birds recognize it. The birds can hear every little detail. We can't. Maybe it's the same with poetry. When we read poetry, we get some general tune, and somewhere in our quantum field of our consciousness, we get all the little details. But on this level, we just enjoy the general tune, like when we listen to a bird. So that's one thing. And again, you can see how he doesn't really care about having specifically equal stanzas, so some of them are a bit longer. So yeah, it's like a bird song comes naturally. At the same time, it's really, really clever. So that's probably like the highest point of poetry. It's super duper complicated, but it sounds just nice and singing. Okay. Done with that, more or less. Let's look at the translation, see what it tells us. So now that we read the translation, how do you feel about the poem?
Well, after we have read it, after you discuss it, I do find it really beautiful. And I don't know, if I try to imagine when it was all happening, I would probably say May or June.
It's May. Because they have May.
Oh, the metrical
they
singing
don't
of
call
maize foster
The
son.
flowers of maize tender branches, and it was Morvid who sang maize foster son.
Okay, then my impression was
Yes.
and of course, one thing that strikes me quite obvious, although it's not really that obvious, is to me
Yes.
is how different the Welsh and the English versions sound.
Yes.
So if we are talking about music, these seem to be completely different genres of
Yes.
music. And as you said, can it really be translated? Don't we lose everything in translation? And we don't lose the story though, because the story to me is much more intelligible in the English translation for obvious reasons.
Yes.
And yes, a final touch.
So, what do you think about the sound? How is it different in English and in the original?
Well, obviously, one hears sounds in Welsh that don't exist in English.
Yeah.
The famous the double L sound
Yes.
is a good example. But also the rhythm of all those sounds is quite different. It's, as I look at it, I can see that English translation, the lines in the English language translation look longer, which probably means either that English is not as compact as Welsh, or which is probably the same thing. Welsh, they have to explain certain things in English when they translate it from Welsh into English, making it longer. Instead of being able to translate word by word, they don't find corresponding words in English, and they might use longer variations of the same to sort of enable the reader to understand some of the Welsh structures.
Well, yeah, it's a common difficulty in translation that the different languages have different length. So if you compare, like, I don't know, you have like English and say Russian, and say, I don't know, Finnish. If you try to translate, you find out the book comes from that big to that big to that big. Because let's say in English compared to Russian is really short.
Yeah.
But compared to Finnish, Russian is short.
Okay. And it's interesting because we were reading with my students the Russian chronicles written in Old Slavonic, and side by side, just the way here, we had a contemporary English translation.
Oh.
And interestingly, English translation was much longer than Old Slavonic. Somehow it seems that
There are specifics of language.
there are specifics of language, and
Because in
somehow
Old Slavonic you could use just one word,
Yeah.
and it would mean quite a lot.
yeah, absolutely. So and it
Just
probably
two
means also that
language.
we lost something.
Oh
we
yeah,
we
I
native
know.
Russian
we have
speakers
law. What do you call this double what?
double F
Double F.
and double O.
Yes. What we used to have in Russian a long
Pause.
time ago. Yeah, that happens. And again, like I said, when you look at that, again, it's not like proper Welsh as we see today. Again, it's different. Yeah.
And isn't it a common conception or misconception that if you want to see something written in Welsh today, you are going to see a very long word? For example, when you have these travel signs in Welsh saying this is a Welsh village, then
No.
then it's going to be
No. That was made for tourists. What they did, they had a few names and they united it like one name. But really, it's not one word. It's like a phrase.
yes,
And they united it for tourists. They
Yeah,
had
so
a
it
place
was
like
never
that
meant
and
to
a
be written
place
as
like
one
that.
word.
And they united it to attract tourists. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah, so if we say they united it to attract tourists as one word, then we
Yes,
can...
that would be another long
Yeah,
word.
another one.
Yeah, so basically what they had there is like, I don't remember, but like a white church standing by a rock near a red river, something. So it's a phrase, it's not a word. No, it's not true. You have short words, like here.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start. Just half an hour later. Phew! So where is he? And why is he there?
Well, he's in a pleasant place. And a
What
pleasant
kind of
place, and again, what counts as a pleasant place for people? To someone, a pleasant place might be, I don't know.
Here. What is the place?
Yes, here. I mean, here it is somewhere where there are lots and lots and lots of trees, meaning probably it's wood or at least something that looks like wood. Again, a wood can sometimes be nice. It can sometimes be dark.
He has hazels.
Yeah, he has hazels.
So hazels is not like horrible wood.
Yeah.
It's like
So it already creates, and
it's light. It's not
he calls them fine and green. So they are not really dark, and they're not really that big.
Yeah, and then again, hazels are like magical. We use hazel
Hazelnuts.
sticks. Well, hazelnuts obviously, and hazel sticks are magical. We use them a lot.
Can I have one?
Okay. Okay, now, and what time of day is it?
What time of day is it? It's sunrise.
Yes. Why?
Singing,
What are
listening
we
at
doing
break
there?
of day.
What are they doing there at sunrise?
The birds,
The man and the birds
yes, the birds
and we.
we are watching and listening. First we listen to the birds who welcome sunrise, the break of day, as
Is that what they do? No.
no,
They don't welcome sunrise.
they didn't welcome sunrise.
So the skillful cock thrush was sent by his
Yes.
lover, so he came to sing for him.
Okay, so
Well,
it means that there are no
what kind of
other
that?
birds.
Maybe they are just listening.
Okay.
So what kind of air and atmosphere is here? In hazel wood at the dawn of day, the birds singing.
Expectation.
Yeah. Expectation. Maybe it's optimistic because the sun is coming up.
Yeah, and
Or
there's nothing to say if it's not optimistic. Fine, great hazels, break of day. If sunrise is beautiful, and it usually is, When you can see the sun.
It says like the Friday, the beginning of the day.
Yeah.
When the day begins, the new day, new story. And he's already listening.
Yeah, and there are lots of words that.
Kelvin, again, connections.
Yeah, and lots of words mean there's something beautiful happening. Pleasant, fine, splendid, skillful.
Yes.
Shining again.
Yeah, we like shining.
Yes.
And it kind of tells us about the place. It tells us it's in Wales. It uses the word England.
And again, it's a place where you have time to stop and listen, and you've noticed the fact that it's sunrise and not just another day beginning by looking at my watch and saying, okay, it's time now. Yeah. So it's the atmosphere is probably completely different to what you might find at the same time of the day in a big city. In Wales, if there are big cities, well, Cardiff is probably big, or somewhere else. So you might hear birds in big cities, but they still are a big bonus to you, and not necessarily. If you live in a skyscraper, then probably it's too high for the birds to reach you. So here it's...
so why was he there?
Well, he was there, as someone has explained to me recently, because a bird, cock thrush, was sent to him, the writer.
So he knew the bird was sent for him, or he felt it and he went to meet it. Or maybe he went there just every morning and the bird knew where to find him. Could be true.
Yeah, and again, we might have this very thing happening to us, and it goes unnoticed. There was a bird or someone else sent to us by
someone else,
and we just walk along without ever noticing it.
Yep.
So that's not what's going to happen here.
So again, we have two birds here. We have the cock thrush.
Yes.
And the nightingale is a she.
Yeah.
And we have two lovers. So again, the man and the woman. So maybe he is like the skillful cock thrush, and she is like the poetess. Maybe.
Yeah, and again, skillful and poetic. They are not necessarily opposites, but at least at the surface level. At surface level.
Skillful and
can also mean
two sides of the same. If you don't have the skill, how can it be poetic? If you're not poetic, how can it be skillful?
Shall I get you a refill?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's just pause.
The coronavirus.
Yes. It says, everybody, be very much afraid. Do not leave your home.
Is it TV2?
TV2?
Your phone operator?
No.
Because yesterday I was told that TV2, which is the fourth largest operator here in Russia, but something with international connections, is sending messages, daily messages to.
Oh, that's like back to slavery, back to closing all countries. Now they say you can't travel. Now they say let's close down schools. Now they say no entertainment for you. You can't go to a concert or to a sports event. What's next? You can't leave your house, can't leave your flat.
Well, you can't.
Well, it's like total control again. It's crazy, all because of a bit of a, what, flu?
Well, there is something pleasant about it, because I know one of my colleagues was celebrating his 50th birthday, and then he decided that it was a good idea to go to Italy for 2 days afterwards, and he's just returned and he can't really continue working because he's quarantined for 2 weeks.
Yes.
But he retains his full salary by sitting at home and probably doing nothing.
Well, that is true for some people, who are not me. Well, anyway, some people can sit at home and still get their salary, some other people get no salary at all. I mean, there are lots of people who work in like these places where now it's closed, and what do?
And that's a problem, yeah.
Well, it's a problem, but again, what they do is they create lots and lots of panic out of next to nothing. They make people nervous over every sneeze. Somebody, no, kill him, burn him. That's what they do. Create panic in minds, create this total control outside, externally, because it's connected. And people are because people are made so afraid and panicking, they don't even argue. Say, yes, let's close school, let's have no entertainment, let's just sit at home, like little sheep. It's mad. Madness.
Madness.
So let's...
is the key word.
Let's heal it. Let's heal it.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so it's...
So it sounds, in Russian it sounds quite simple. It sounds simple and beautiful. So it's transparent. Whereas these translations, well, probably are not really transparent to me, because I'm not a native speaker. They might be transparent to well. And again, that's why they are a bit longer, more cumbersome. Something that is absolutely missing from the Welsh texts, which is short and probably much more. Yes.
Much more
precise, much more to the point. Yes.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
So again, we have a magical place here, and the other place is also fair county of care.
Yeah, and fair and shining, so lots of, and sunrise meaning sunshine.
Oh, they exist in their own space.
Yes, and it seems there's space. There's this care county, but otherwise they are unaware of the world outside their space. So they live happily in a sort of Eden, without really knowing that there's something else, because there isn't.
Because they live in their own space of love.
Yeah. So
sunshine and happy.
it's like you live in your own space of love, and something happens, and you're transported to Earth, where there's snow in May and sunshine in February and plus 20, and then only if you can listen to the messenger from somewhere else, you can hope to be transported back to that beautiful place where it all originates. I don't know. So I'm just...
Okay, so now we look at the bird, and it's a really strange bird, not a normal bird. He wore a camisia of the flowers of May stand the branches. Well, it's not just a bird, it's a bird in a kind of a dress. He's dressed in flowers. Have you seen birds dressed in flowers?
No.
No. So again, it's a very magical bird. And not just that, he had a chasuble. What's this chasuble? The kind of clothes that priests wear in church, in Christian church. So as the poet looks at the bird, he can see that the trees, the hazels, they are the bird's clothes, church clothes for the bird. Imagine. So next time you go to church, you may see that the priests wear some hazels, green mantles. Of course, green is really optimistic. Walls on the wind's wings, green mantles.
And that's why we have so lots of green.
Mm-hmm.
Green, and green,
Yes.
and green, and green.
Yes, yes. We have wind and we have mantles. So Ventish and Gwint here. So like Ventish like mantles and Gwint like wind. They come together. Again, like we said, we unite greenness and wind, which is free and wild. And we turn this not a very Christian picture into a church. Because again, what is a church? Is it something pompous, boring, serious, or is it just where your soul is happy and talking, singing to God in happiness? So we have an altar. You can't just have an altar any place. So it's a really sacred place. The altar's covering there by great God. So it's like swearing, but we bring God into the poem. And great God was of nothing but gold entirely. Wow! How is it? Where did they get gold in the forest?
Sunshine, stream.
Yeah, because if it's sunrise, you know how the light is really rich and golden at sunrise. The paint's all golden. So again, it gives you the sensation how it's really early in the morning, maybe 5 in the morning. He's already there listening to birds. Do you know many people who get up at 5 in the morning to go to a park or a forest to listen to birds?
No, not really.
Have you done it?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you should. It's really fantastic. In summer, not in winter. Well, in winter it might be good too, but you just don't get sunshine in winter.
You get the coronavirus instead.
No, you don't. The coronavirus is only dangerous for you if you think you're a bat or a fox. If you think you're an animal, then it's dangerous for you. It is not dangerous for human beings. We have our a crystal structure, which is stronger than some stupid fake viruses. It protects you if you're aware of it. If you're aware of your crystal shield, crystal grid, it's active, it protects you. Nothing can hurt you. It's all in mind. It is. It is. You can only get sick if you want to get sick. If there's something, a hole in your structure. If you're healthy, there are no holes in your shell and nothing can get through. Is it that? Is it that? Seriously? Okay. So, nothing gold entirely, so we bring gold here. Really fresh, really bright, really beautiful, fantastic.
Yes, and much more beautiful than
Real gold.
real gold.
Why? Because it's passing. Now it's you can't get a hold on it. The sun is rising, you have the gold, but a few moments later it's gone.
Yeah, and again,
It's magical.
everybody has heard about these gold idols who are worshipped by heaven, by the heaven. Here it seems this sort of thing or symbol is again transformed into something Christian.
They don't say it's not like an idol; it's an altar.
It's altar.
So you don't worship the altar; you worship God.
Yeah.
But you have the altar to worship God.
Yeah.
And that's different. So what you say is people worshipping gold and things made of gold. But here it's an altar for God. You don't worship the altar; you worship God. It was Morvid who had sent the metrical singing of May's foster son. So in that translation it's kind of not really obvious. In the other translation you can see straight away that Morvid is the name of the girl. And here, like we said, it's really beautiful. Morvid han vosenai murder kindaif mab maif mai. Morvid murder
Month of
mab
May.
maif mai. So in today's Welsh it would be like Miss Mai, a month miss. And here he says maif mai. Ganya daif mab maif mai. And so the bird is a son of May, foster son of May.
Yeah. And metrical singing, again, when you say metrical, you're thinking about technical details of...
which is like what we have here in the poem.
Yes. I wonder whether the Welsh text has a word that means metrical, but...
Meter.
Yes.
Meter.
Yeah.
I guess.
But again, does it mean metrical or does it mean something that is translated into contemporary English as metrical? So again, we are much more technical when translating these than the original text might suggest. And again, it's not to criticize the translations, just to show how...
You can never translate it accurately.
Yeah,
But
so
you can look at the original and you say Mervid and murder and then Ganya dive and maif. Yeah? Dive, maif and mab, maif, mai. Yeah. You can see this metrical singing in the poem itself.
just the metrical singing. Yes, it's okay.
It's so metrical. So again, we look here, we look back there, we make our setting here, we set it up as a church, then we remember Mervid in the faraway country again, and then we look at the bird again, May's foster son. Oh, we keep moving, we don't stay in one place, we keep moving. It's good. Phew, I heard in pure language, Mia Gwilym mewn golywaith gyda'n gryf, pure language, a lengthy recitation without fault, a reading to the people of the parish, no pompous stumbling. So again, like in opposition to the real church, which is not always perfect, that place is perfect.
And pure.
And pure, and you have birds doing the service, you know, like birds are perfect because they're not humans. They don't have their ideas, they just to do it.
And there used to be a Danish philosopher named Søren Kierkegaard who, among other
Yeah.
things, wrote 2 books about birds.
Yes.
In fact, he wrote about birds and lilies and the way we as Christians might model our lives on them, and the way we are different, the way we are similar. So again, a bird is probably a symbol of something beautiful, something pure, something which is not a thing. Something which is not a thing.
Yeah. Well, then again, he was famous for saying that a wife destroys inspiration. It's better to have a lover than a wife. And
Well,
he never married that girl.
Yeah, Regina Olsen. But he never married her because he thought that, well, it's difficult to understand, but yeah, why not?
Well,
But,
and I understand he said that if you're married, you have a wife, it kills inspiration. But having a lover is really
but
inspiring.
he didn't, as far as I understand, he continued to love her.
Yes.
And he never
Yes.
had a mistress or something. Instead, he thought that probably his melancholic temperament was not really good for a fair and pure girl.
Well, they're all different.
Well, there are differences, and I think it's one of the big mysteries. So he refused to marry her, although he very much wanted to, and he refused to become a priest when one of his church friends wanted him to do that.
Well, that's what you do if you're a real philosopher. You know what you do, you know what you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to get married, or you're not supposed to be a priest. You just know it, you just feel it.
Yeah, and again he said, well, if I wanted to go the usual path, I would have got married, I would have probably accepted this priesthood offer. But the way I feel, I value things which are not things again, that other people find useless or just don't care about. So what's the purpose of forgetting about my mission here if I lose all that makes life worth living? And he says, I'm really melancholic and sad, but there's happiness in my sadness.
Okay, let's get back to the point.
Okay, let's get back to the point.
Good. So again, it's only possible because he and his love are apart. That's the only condition.
So Kierkegaard and Regina Olsen.
Yeah. And again, if we come back here a little bit, we have God, dear Maur, great God, and in the same stanza, just 2 lines later, we have Morved. So the goal is as big as God to him, as important as God to him. And apparently she has some magic powers because she can send birds to him to sing for him their message. Okay. Now we have this like ideal church. So again, it's like a reversed story of who was it? Francis, who was reading to birds.
Yeah.
Now we have birds reading to him.
My brothers, he says, and my sisters. Yeah, Francis, obviously.
And what we do not have in churches, we have a sexy nightingale, sexy poetess, also being a part of the service. Fine, slender, resonant nightingale, wandering poetess of the valley or the poetess of the stream, ringing for all the sacred bell, piercing whistle or clear whistle, another translation. When was it? Gur. The poetess of the stream. So we don't have those prejudices in the natural charge of birds. It's like, no, you're a girl, you can't be a priest. No, you're a poetess. You can't sing in church. No, you're too beautiful. Go away from the monastery. Well, they don't have these problems here. So it's happy, it's beautiful, full of love, full of light.
And again, it's the thing I find amazing about it is that it's not like saying, okay, that's where I find my happiness, and the rest is darkness and live ahead. There's only happiness in the world here.
Yes.
There's happiness, there's purity.
It's how it should be.
And it doesn't have any opposites. It's just like either it's the beginning or the end of everything.
Yes. Yes. It's good. So it's well balanced. We have a poet, male, the cockthrush. We have a poetess, the female, the nightingale. And they're both beautiful, they're both strong, fantastic. It's not like saying, no, poetry is only for boys. You're a girl, you just listen to my poems. I write for you, you listen, okay?
And there's also no such thing as, okay, I'm writing a poem in the 21st century, and gender equality is very much in my agenda, so I should have a boy and a girl. Maybe an African American boy.
And the fat, ugly girl to make everybody happy. Crazy. It's like I sent a poem recently to a magazine, and they said like, well, it's fine, but why do you use the word gay not in the sense somebody who's
gay?
Why do you use the word gay in the original sense? How do you talk to such people? You don't talk, you don't speak to them. Well, anyway, back here. So we have gold, and then we have Morvid. We have a poet, a skillful cockthrush, and we have the wandering poetess, who's apparently a really great character. And most interesting, we have a girl sending a love poem to a man, to a poet, and not the other way as you would expect.
Yeah, that's where feminism comes into play.
No, it's not about being.
It's not about. And again, it's
about freedom and happiness. It's not like saying, "Oh my God, I will write to you and you shut up." No, it's exchange. It's alive. I write to you, then you write to me. No problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, she wrote to me. Oh, now I need to write to her to show I'm the boss. No, it's like, beautiful, good, let's listen.
Yeah, and again, he was there to hear the song, to hear the message. So there's a connection between them that is much stronger, much more powerful than text messaging or something. It's
yes.
He was there. He knew the message was coming his way.
Of course, we have lots of sounds in it. Bird songs, singing, sermons, recitals, locations, what do we have here? Metrical singing, pure language, recitation without fault, reading, resonant nightingale, poetess, ringing, bell, whistle, lots of sounds which are all different, which you all hear. We have some colors, and not so many, just green hazels, green mantles. Well, we hear a lot. And the host was raised up towards the sky above the grove. And the Lord our Father was worshipped with the chalice of desire and love, which is the place where all Orthodox Christians say, no! You don't worship God with love and ecstasy, no! You should be miserable and humble. Go away, no, I'm not looking at it. It's heresy, burn it. Don't read it, never. Which is, of course, again, the question. How do we take it? How do we worship God? How do we worship God? Well, one trap which might be dangerous is that people say that God is love, but sometimes they mean love is God, which is obviously different. So what is here? Is it God is love or love is God?
I think God is love, and our Lord, our Father is the one we desire, with Jesus Christ as this groom made of words. Yeah. So we desire and we love, and everything is directed towards this this love.
Well, how do you imagine Lord our Father was worshipped with desire and love, or ecstasy and love in another translation? I understand it's like, hooray, we're alive, and we can love. Isn't that great? Hooray, thank you God for this great opportunity. Maybe that's what they mean. Maybe. So again, lots of nice things like desire or ecstasy, love. I'm content with the music. It was nurtured by a birch grove in the sweet woods, which is like funny, because content is not like a very strong expression of your feelings.
The other translation says, I'm very pleased or something.
Yes, I'm well pleased.
Well pleased.
But again, pleased is not So it's like, oh yeah, well I listened to it, I heard better. It was nurtured by a birch grove in the sweet woods. So it's real natural music from the forest. It's not the artificial music of humans.
Yeah. And it has no choice. It must appear, not because it's forced to appear, but the music will be there. We know that. Unlike human music, which might or might not be played.
So here it comes natural, like a flower.
Yeah.
And the word he says here, maif, is the same word as up here, maif, metrical sinking of maize, first sung. So it kind of brings us back to metrical sinking, I guess.
And music, yeah.
Potlanoi fer kanie dai, Bedouin or koid moinai maif.
Knife.
I don't know, do we have much more to say here? Or maybe one little funny thing is how he has kind of his name in it. David. So his name is David. David Gwilym.
From Gwilym.
So David, and he says David Dad, Lord our Father. Maybe it's a little joke for his part. maybe. Anything else?
Interesting, really interesting.
Yes.
The words in the heading, Offeren, is it offer? Something that we offer on the altar?
Be. I don't know this word, it could be. Llwyn.
Llwyn.
Where is Llwyn? Oh, do we have it in the text somewhere? Llwyn. Llwyn.
There was Llwyn, yeah. Might it be the same word, Llwyn and...
Llwyn, here we have it in the last stanza. O górę Shingeri Shao. So the edge of a grove nearby, I think it should be, or somewhere here. Because it's after a wafer bread of a good leaf, Arshaden or Zeiden Da. And then we have a case Gain Vine Van Gau, which is, I guess is a fine slender nightingale. O góra Shingeri Shao. Ger means near. So near the grove. So Llwyn should be a forest. So Offeren is mass, yeah. Maybe offering, could be. We don't have that word in the poem anywhere, interestingly.
But again, is it the poet who gives the name, or was it someone else who read the poem and decided it should have this? So maybe it's the publisher or someone else.
Maybe. But I guess it's the point, but maybe not. So what else do we have here? We have a pure language. Again, what is pure language? Is it human language or is it super language which has no words in it? Like the other time we said glossolalia.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a pure language. The purest language is where you have no words. You have a direct connection. And even though it's a lengthy recitation, it's not a problem. He listens to it, you don't get tired, there's no fault. And again, it's a holy book, it's the gospel. They don't read any love poetry, they read good, solid books, holy writings. Gospel.
Yeah. And there was a Christian writer who was, I think most of his books are in French because he lives in France most of his life, but he was born into an American family, so his name is Julian Green, and I think one of the well-known quotations from him from one of his diaries is that tout est law, meaning everything is the other thing. Everything.
Nothing is what it seems.
Or rather, everything is a reminder to us of something much more beautiful, much purer, much...
Because on this plane, what can we have? We can't have the real... Perhaps like objects, reminders.
Yes.
Maybe it is this time. Okay. Please. No, doesn't want to. Okay, we can have some background information. Okay, Dafydd ap Gwilym is regarded as one of the greatest of all the Welsh poets. We know very little about him. He was probably born circa 1320, inland from Aberystwyth. He's famous for the outstanding quality of his verse, which was mainly composed in Cywydd meter. Cywydd, that's kind of poetry, Cywydd. It's kind of poetry he was writing. Thus he belongs to a large group of poets known as Cafydwyr, a man of the Cafyd. The Cafyd was a form of verse which emerges in Wales in the early 14th century, of which he was one of the most illustrious practitioners. The verse has the form of a rhyming couplet, so A-A-B-B, each of 2 7-syllable lines, 2 7-syllable lines, in which the final words rhyme, but the rhyme has to be between a 1-syllable and a 2-syllable word. Have you and grew, did and kill with. You see? Mm-hmm. So the rhymes, one word is 1 syllable and the other word is 2 syllables. And in each line you have 7 syllables. Mm-hmm. That's crazy enough. In addition, each line has a complex pattern of repeating pattern of consonantal alliteration. Taking the 4th couplet of this poem, Peshenik push a anwyd, peshe shurnair shatay shruid. We see that in addition to the end rhyme between anwyd and shruid, there's a repetition of the consonantal structure of peshening in push a anwyd. So peshening, push, anwyd. The beginning of the line is then echoed in the pesh of the next line. Then in the second line there's an eternal rhyme between shurnai and shatai and alliteration between shatai and shruid. Dafydd ap Gwilym's poetry ranges across many subjects. Often their core are love and nature. Okay, fair enough. In this particular poem, Morfydd, one of the women, whom he is constantly in love. That's great. One of the women with whom he is constantly in love, great, has sent a thrush as a love messenger, shatai. This is a common device to send the bird or some other feature of the natural world to take a message to one's beloved. The thrush, with the help of a nightingale, then celebrates Mass in the forest. Although at first sight it may seem parodic, Dafydd turns the ornithological mass into a hymn of praise for the Creator. Further discussion, some images of manuscripts can be found somewhere else. Okay. Well, good. Nice summary.
Yeah.
So it's a really, really clever kind of poetry, as you can see.
Yeah. Well, shall I try and find it if it connects me to...
Oh, it should. It should. Why shouldn't it? If you just look for the title.
Yeah, I think so. Somehow.
So how do you translate it? How do you keep it? The 7 syllables in each line and the 1 syllable rather than 2 syllables and the eternal rhyming and all the alliteration. Crazy, beautiful. What kind of a poet should he be to write it? Maybe he was a bird himself.
Mm-hmm.
Then, of course, speaking of birds, we have cockthrush and the nightingale, who is a sheep. And we know that the nightingale has the original song, while the thrushes often repeat after other birds.
Do they?
They do.
They copy.
I think they do. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. So here the poetess is greater than the poet. Yeah. and it's the girl Morvid who has the power to send magic birds.
There's a man and a woman standing there 6 years ago.
Oh, it's on YouTube. Good. Oh. Are we going to read or just to dance?
That's
That's a cockthrush and that's a nightingale.
Is it?
No, I think that's something different. Maybe it just says. Okay. Maybe.
That's. I think we're somewhere here, so we might go back here.
Maybe you just say David in search. David. David up Gwilym. David. David.
Shall I edit the rest?
Okay. No,
It's okay. Okay.
No, I don't think you can find it like that. Maybe just Google it. Oh no, pasta.
Pasta.
Pasta. Where's pasta?
It's just my humble and miserable attempts at.
Okay, let's just try to Google it. Maybe it's not on YouTube, somewhere else. Okay. Offeren. Llwyn. Dafydd. Dafydd. Gwilym. Oh, that should be it. Just ignored. Okay, text and translation. So we have
Lle digrif ar fi heddiw, dan fentyll a gwyddgyll gwyw. W'n gwrando ddechrau dydd, yr ceiliog bronfraith celfydd, yn canu englyn a lathr, arwyddion a llyddion llathr. Pellenig, pwyll i anwyd, pell i siwrnau llatau llwyd, ymyradoeth o swydd gwyth gair, ani erchu o mae'r chwaer, geiriog heb un gair gwarant, sef y cech i nentyrch nant. Morfydd a'i hanfanasau, myder ganiadaeth mab maith mai. Amdano yr oedd gasmau, o flodau mwyn gangau mai, a'i gasil dy bygesynt, o esgyll, gwydd fentyll gwynt. Nid oedd yna mynd diw mawr, ond awr oll yn dôr a llawr. Mi y glewn mewn glwyw iaith, batganu nid methu maith, darllain i'r plwyf, nid rhwy ffris efenw yn difyngus. Codi a bryn un yna, aberlladen o ddeilyn dda, ag eos gain fain fanaw, o gŵr y llwyn gar i llaw, clerwaig nant i gant ag an, cloch aberth, clai i chwyban, a dach hafel yn aberth, hyd a nen i uwchben y berth, a chrefydd in dofydd dad, a charego, nwyf a chariad. Bodlon nwyf i'r ganiadaeth, bedw Llwyn o'r coed mwyn a imaith.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Isn't it fantastic?
It certainly is.
Okay. So that's how we defeat all these stupid viruses. Well, thank you, David.